Hey everybody, so welcome to Chat with Kat. I'm sorry I've been away for so long. As you guys know, I was in the hospital last week, and this week I just kind of took some time to just recuperate. But I am back, and I'm so excited to announce that I got a job with Happy Sped Tutoring. I will be their resource advocate, which means that if parents need to know of places to bring their children to get extra resources for activities, whether it be recreational or health or education related, I'm your go to person. So check out Happy Sped Tutoring. They're really great. You can find them on Instagram. And if you need a tutor for your child, they are more than willing to, help out in that department too. So definitely check them out. So that is announcement number one. Announcement number two is that today I spent the day at Shake a Leg Miami, which I've mentioned in a couple of my videos, and I had so much fun. I got to go on a pontoon boat with a bunch of my friends and even met some new people that I hadn't associated with yet, but it was just a really, really fun time. And towards the end, it became really interesting when a group of us were sitting around talking about all the things that we face throughout the day that society could make easier for us. For example, this is just some of the things that we talked about. We talked about how frustrating it can be when we are faced with a situation where someone is parked in an accessible parking space that doesn't necessarily need the parking space. We also talked about how there should be two different kinds of accessible parking. One for those of us with mobility issues and one for those without that may have some other form of a disability. Because if you don't know, that line that's next to an accessible parking space is called the access line, and that is actually designed for mobility devices such as wheelchairs and walkers and canes, so we are able to transfer easily and get out of the car with more space and an easier way to get around. That is why we were talking about how there should be two different kinds of accessible parking. One for those of us that need those devices and need that extra space, and ones that don't. So that's something that, I thought was really interesting that was brought up in our conversation. The other thing that was brought up was just, how important it is to have accessibility within the establishment, because we all just want to live our lives just like everybody else. We want to be able to go to bars. We want to be able to go to concerts. We want to be able to go out and have fun. And it's so important to, when we get to these venues and we get to these establishments, that things are accessible for us, whether it be the bathroom or the seating or whatever. It's so important to have that be fully accessible. And unfortunately, the ADA was only formed in 1990, so there's this grandfather rule, meaning that any establishment made before the 90s does not necessarily have to follow the ADA, which to me is complete nonsense. But it is part of it, so unfortunately that is a thing. But those that are made from 1990 and beyond, which is a good 34 years, need to get on the ball and make sure that they are, fully accessible. So we too can live well-rounded and fun lives. So that was, conversation number two, topic number two that I felt like I wanted to share with all of you. And just, I want to end with this. I loved that the people that were there were both people with and without disabilities, and or some with invisible disabilities such as autism or whatever. And I love that we all just saw each other. It was not, we all were learning from each other. I had a conversation with one man who was there being the videographer, and he was telling me about the work that he does outside of that, where he designs clothing based on his culture. And I was telling him how that's really cool, but have you thought about making like a sub line of clothing that would make it accessible for people with disabilities, easier buttons, easier zippers, so on and so on? And he really loved that idea. So I just loved that we were able to communicate and learn from each other. And he was able to teach me about his culture, and I was able to talk to him about, you know, what I consider my culture, which is being within the disability community, which is its own culture, it's its own thing. Um, so I definitely thought that that was really cool, that we were able to learn and grow from one another. And yeah, so that's, and on top of that, we had a great time sailing. I mean, I got soaked by a wave that kind of infiltrated the boat, but other than that, it was a blast. It was a blast. Shout out to Harry Horgan for, always putting on a great bay day. And the next one is October 27th, which will be held by the Spinal Cord Injury Support Group. So I'm super excited for that one, and I'll be back to tell you more about that when it happens. Maybe I'll go on a sailboat or go kayaking then. Who knows? I'll keep you guys posted. But until then, I'll try to get on to make more videos for all of you. I do apologize that I haven't kept up with the videos lately. Like I said, after the hospital, my body was still recovering, so I didn't really feel up to making videos. But today I just had such a wonderful day with friends and acquaintances that I felt like I wanted to share some insights with all of you. So anyway, have a great rest of your day. I'm going to chill out, have some dinner, and then watch the Mets beat the Dodgers, hopefully, in the first National League championship game of this year. So let's hope that it all works out. All right, bye guys. Love you.